Hey guys, welcome to Writers Wednesday. I'm AJ Forrisi, and today I want to talk about a bit of an issue that shouldn't actually be an issue. That's spelling and grammar. I mean, this is something that goes back all the way to elementary school where, you learn that when you're young, but still it seems like even people in like their 20s and 30s, sometimes, even up there in age, you see it on social media all the time, whereas people don't know how to spell or even use proper grammar. Yes, some of the grammar rules are a little tricky to learn, but it's not like there aren't resources out there. And yes, for the average person, who cares, right? But in a literary sense, when you brand yourself as an author, or if you're in business or marketing, finance, anything that you have to put your writing out there for the public to see, which also includes science, any of those social studies, even music and any other kind of entertainment, if you don't know how to spell, have someone else do it for you. But if you're trying to brand yourself as an author, which I am currently trying to do, the best thing for you is to learn how to spell and how to speak and write properly. Now, yes, while we speak to each other, we have colloquialisms where we don't exactly base how we speak off of grammar rules. We change things, but obviously you can't see our spelling. Like you can't, differentiate between your and your through vocals. But when you're writing, it's the easiest thing to do. I had gotten a text not long ago asking me if I was publishing a book. Now the guy put your, Y-O-U-R. To anyone else just out there, but like, hey, well maybe he just had a mistake. It's, you don't have that big of a mistake, especially when you yourself are branding yourself as an author. Another example, someone had died recently in the media, and actually a big politician had died recently here in New York, and the guy said rest in peace, like a piece of cake. You can't, that's a little disrespectful, let's be honest, but at the same time, it's a basic spelling rule. It's not even a rule, they're two different words. So if you're a little confused about your words, there are resources out there besides the dictionary. But when I first started writing, I picked up a couple of resources. Namely one, I have this one here, My Grammar and I, or Should It Be Me? This one is a really great book because it has your confusables, like the affect and effect, which I think everyone probably gets that confused because there's a very tight rule on that. There's different rules for punctuation in here. So in case you don't know that, because there are, how to use like a semicolon or a colon, it teaches you different parts of speech. This book is a pretty basic level book, and I've used it throughout. There's a whole graph on what to call groups of animals. I love it. It's great, it's fast, it's easy to use. Now, my freshman year in college, I had to actually pick up Rules for Writers, which is a great book and it's a pretty thick book and it covers everything. And this is actually really great for college students because there's a whole citation part of the book. There's everything that's covered in the My Grammar and I, or Should It Be Me, but it's also covered in this book as well, which this book goes into a lot more detail and gives you a number of examples. That gives you some exercises to try, but this book gives you so much more. And I don't have any of her books, but there's a blogger named Mignon Fogarty. Now, she was also a science writer, but now she writes quick and dirty tips for writers, and she has a large book series, and basically each of her books are geared towards a different aspect of writing. And I've listened to her podcast, I've read her blogs before. I've even picked up some tricks from her. And her resources, her advice is solid advice. It's similar to stuff in here, but I think hers goes a little bit easier for everyone to remember. There's a book for college kids. I think there's like 5 or 6 101 books that just teach you different smaller aspects of writing, which if you're trying to get into writing and you don't know these grammar rules, because grammar rules are very tricky, like the I before E rule, not every word that has I and E actually follows that rule. So, I mean, you pick up these books and you learn a little bit more about the grammar rules, the way, the syntax, how to properly have that. I think it's, you can't go out, publish a book and expect it to have great reviews when you have grammar errors, or spelling errors, or if you're publishing a blog and you want it to gain traction. Someone, like a reviewer, might actually find your blog and see how crappy your grammar is and be like, well, this person, they have solid words, but I can't read what they're posting about if their post is riddled with spelling and grammar errors. I mean, like, I know just right now I had the wrong word in there, but quickly corrected myself. But especially with blog posts, because it's not just like with a book. Yeah, you're having a general audience, but when you have a blog, everyone can see it, especially if you're sharing it on Twitter or Facebook. I don't even think you can share it on Instagram, but you can probably link it to Instagram. And you could have a lot more people find it than if you put a book out in a bookstore and somebody just glosses right through it. Like, it's like, oh, there's a book there, and then, they move on to their favorite author. But if they hear bad reviews about that book and about you as an author or a writer or anything, they're not going to pick it up. And this is one aspect that I feel is really one of the heaviest things and probably the most obvious, but one of the most detrimental when it comes to writing. You don't have your spelling and grammar down. I honestly think you need to pick up a couple of resources, maybe take a back step and learn your grammar rules and your spelling rules. I mean, it just makes you look a little bit more professional. I know when I went through my novel for the first time, there was a lot of grammatical errors, because when you just sit there and you write, sometimes you miss a word, or because it's in your head and your brain is typing faster than your fingers actually are. And that's why you have editors. They go through the things again. And another thing with the spelling and grammar, if you know your grammar rules, don't just finish it and then be like, all right, this is good. I finished it. It's great. It's going to go out there and people are going to love it. No, you got to take a step back, give it like an hour to breathe, and then breathe, as I call it, and then go back and read it. See if there's grammar rules. I just posted for National Authors Day a week ago. I posted about my 3 favorite authors, and that's on my website, which is the link is down below. But I read through it. I thought it was great. I hit submit because it was actually a little bit past midnight, so I missed National Authors Day, but I still published it in honor of National Authors Day. And I read through it later on. I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing a word here, and that word doesn't make sense here. I know my grammar rules. I've written a whole book. I had my editor read my book, and she corrected my grammar rules because I missed them, because you need a fresh pair of eyes. And I still had some mistakes. Always go back and review if there's going to be a mistake or two, just to have a clear, more perfected piece. Other than that, I think you'll be great. Just remember to edit. If you don't know your rules of grammar and spelling, definitely pick up a couple of resources. Like I said, the Rules for Writers and My Grammar and I, or Should It Be Me, 2 great sources, or any of Mignon Fogarty's books. Her books are amazing. Her tips are amazing. You can find her online. Anyway, hope you guys pick up this tip and it helps you guys out a little bit. I know it's a little bit basic, but this is the first episode of Writers Wednesday, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have anything you want me to cover, any topics that you think I'd be able to talk to you guys about and maybe help you guys out a little bit more, let me know. Shoot me a message on my website or leave it in the comments down below. Sorry about that. But definitely let me know, and I'll try to get, the video up for you. Remember, this is a bi-monthly segment, so there's another episode coming in a couple weeks. So, hope to see you guys all there. Bye.